Hare Krishna, this is Rukma from ISKCON, Nairobi. Greetings from all of you and Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. If you're seeking real knowledge, it will ultimately come to you if you practice love of God. Now this is explained very nicely in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 8 onwards. And it gives you 19 items which ultimately developed in anyone who is performing devotional service, starting from humility, which is the foremost, going right up to the philosophical search of the absolute truth. And it is possible. The first quality is humility. It will come into a devotee because a devotee is ready to respect everyone, not demanding respect from anyone else. That is called humility. Number 2, pridelessness. Pride becomes a very big impediment in our spiritual life. One is to give up this pride, bow down to the Lord, become prideless in order to allow the love of God to enter in your heart. Number 3, non-violence, which means not to give pain to anyone by our words, mind, or body. Furthermore, even to one's own soul by not engaging in Krishna's service. In other words, if you don't practice spiritual life, you are a violent person. Number 4, tolerance. Ready to bear insults or dishonor from anyone, knowing well that you are a spirit soul and distribute spiritual knowledge to everyone. Number 5, simplicity. Live a very simple life. Be very straightforward in your dealings and ready to convey truth the way it is. That is called simplicity. Number 6, accepting a spiritual master. Without a spiritual master or a guru, one cannot actually enter into the realm of spiritual life. If you do not surrender to the spiritual master, which actually means you are not surrendering to God. So according to Vedic definition, one must surrender to a spiritual master. Number 7, cleanliness. External cleanliness is to remain hygienically clean by bathing and internally keeping yourself clean by chanting the holy names of God. Number 8, steadiness comes from firm determination to keep spiritual vows. Anything that is detrimental to spiritual life should be given up. Number 9, self-control. Self-control means controlling our senses, especially starting with the tongue, followed by the belly and the genitals, in which the rest of the senses will follow. Number 10, renunciation of sense objects. We get victimized by different sense objects related to our vision, smell, sound, touch, taste, and so on. We shouldn't get victimized and start contemplating on them, which will divert our attention away from the Supreme Lord. Number 11, understand the reality of life, the perception of birth, death, old age, and disease. They are all painful. And how to come out of this vicious cycle is to surrender to God. This vicious cycle is called in Sanskrit samsara. So one should not come back to this samsara, but go back home, back to God. Number 12, detachment. Now this detachment comes when you know what is body and what is soul, what is truth and what is not truth. The body is there, it is true, but it is temporary. But the soul within us is permanent. So work for the soul to the maximum, for the body the minimum. Number 13, freedom from entanglement with our children, wife and home, which can be done by keeping highest attachment to Krishna. Yes, that does not mean don't show affection to our close people. You have to be very compassionate and affectionate to them by showing love to all of them. Number 14, even-mindedness. Now this world is full of dualities. Sometimes there's cold, sometimes there's heat, honor, dishonor. Sometimes we get gold, sometimes we get stones or pebbles. But we should keep our mind even. 15, aspiring to live in a solitary place. Now one should not do this at once, but one should, after becoming spiritually strong, one can live in a holy place or a secluded place to chant the holy name of God. Number 16, constant and unalloyed devotion to the Lord is explained by our acharyas or our teachers, that our devotion should be free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and speculation. Furthermore, we should rise above the three modes by continuously or non-stop engaging in serving the Supreme Lord. In this way, one can remain constantly engaged in devotional service and thereby understand the relationship between the soul and the supersoul. Number 17, detachment. Now, detachment from the general mass of people. Srila Rupa Goswami explains that to be attached or keeping the mind in the worldly-minded kind of people will keep you away from God. Or become too much attached to worldly-minded people will draw our attention away from God, because not everyone is interested in serving God. 18. Accepting importance of self-realization. What is self-realization? Is to know oneself and one's relationship with God and understand ultimately who is God. And the 19th or the last one is philosophical search of absolute truth. First of all, we'll realize God is everywhere. Second, we'll realize God is in the heart of everyone as Paramatma. And we'll understand the Lord as a person himself who is called Bhagavan or Krishna. So starting from humility, going right up to the philosophical search of the absolute truth is like climbing a staircase. Step by step, one can go upwards if one is very, very steady. And to keep up that steadiness, don't forget the first step, which is humility. Even in the Bible it says, the kingdom of God is open for the humble and meek. And same thing Bhagavad Gita is telling you. Start with the humility and go up to understand the philosophically what is absolute truth or God as He is. Not difficult, easy, but at the same time very difficult if the heart is not clear. Hare Krishna, and have a nice Krishna conscious day.